Hi everyone, a huge welcome back to How to Build a Team in 10 Days. I keep going to say how to lose a guy in 10 days. That's not what we're doing here. However, a huge welcome back. I really hope you've been enjoying these. Love seeing the same faces turning up every single day, day in, day out. So if that is you, please give yourself like a little well done because we see you. We see you turning up. We see you showing up for yourselves and for your business. And we know I can see already some of the amazing impact that this is starting to have around like throughout the team. I can see the ripples bubbling and the excitement around sponsoring, which is incredible. It means that the focus is there. So today we are going to talk about some of the tools that are available to you. And we're not talking necessarily like just from a kit perspective, but actually like what tools are available to you within Scentsy which you can then use and utilize and apply to your business because some of these things you might be like, I didn't even know those things were there. I didn't even like, I hadn't even thought like that. So hopefully we're just going to open your minds to some of the things, some of the resources and where to find them, what to do with them, and really to have them like saved at your fingertips so that they become part of your habit and they create that simplicity because I think that's the biggest thing is when you know where all the tools are, it can aid your confidence. That is going to make you more confident because you can be like, I know where that is. I know where to find that information. So, one of the things that I am going to start off to talk to you guys about is basically the most basic tool that everybody has, and that's your workstation in terms of sponsoring. Now, I am also aware that the workstation can be a little bit like hard to navigate. Like I know that when I've spoken to home office and I've spoken to my team, and sometimes I'm like, I understand it's a bit hard to navigate. However, everything you need to build your team is actually on your workstation. So even if you don't have access to a superstar director group or you don't have access to, some of the Facebook groups regularly because maybe, you're just not on Facebook as much, or maybe you're not using social media as much, that's absolutely okay because all of the information you need is on your workstation. It's just a case of knowing like where to find things, where can I go that is going to actually, tell me all the information that I need to go. And also the other big tool you have is your website. Because if you have got a website, you need a website anyway to be able to sponsor a teamie for starters. If you haven't got a website, you're going to struggle. But more importantly, that's where you're getting all of your information. So for me, on the first of the month, even though like the information's on the workstation, the first thing that I do on the first of the month, before I go anywhere else, I go onto my own website and I go and look at the Become a Consultant tab. That's the first thing I do before when I open my eyes on the first of the month, even when I've seen the end of month live and all of the information that's flying about in the groups, I go and look for myself on my website because I want to see what kits are on there, if there's anything that's changed. I need to know that. That's a priority in my business for building my team. So I want to make sure that I know exactly what information I'm sharing with those people, those potential team members that I'm writing down. I'm then looking and thinking, I need to make sure I know exactly what's available to them. And you can find that information simply by clicking Become a Consultant. It will give you a list plus beautiful images now. We have an amazing Become a Consultant tab. For me it used to be a little bit disjointed and quite busy, whereas now I feel like it flows. It's a really beautiful aesthetic and it gives you each of the kits individually that are available and exactly what you get. So sometimes it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine, and I'm really sorry if you do this, I'm saying it with love, but when people go, what's in the join kit this month, and I'm like, it's on your website. Or if people say, oh, have we got a join offer this month? Every month you've got a join offer because you've got a host kit. And every month now we actually have a join offer because the £9, $9 join kit is staying forever, which I love. They've been listening to us. They've really been listening. So you have got so much information at your fingertips just by going to your website. You also have an incredible marketing and training hub. As I said, I know it can be a little bit complicated to navigate, but you guys just need to spend some time, whether it's of an evening when you're sitting down and just Netflix is on, go to your workstation, pull up the training and the marketing tabs and have a little look of what's in there because you also have access now to images that are on there. The FAQs will tell you what's in the kit. You've also got the marketing images that we're now getting of the kits are absolutely incredible. They're like real life images as opposed to those just standard set alone kit images that have got the black background, which are great for making images, but you have so many tools that are on there. And I have also noticed that on the training tab now, there is also actually a tab for Simply Invite, which is Jeff's incredible training program. If you are not in there, go onto your emails, go and look for your Simply Invite invite that you had, Simply Invite that you had. Click on the link and go and join the Facebook group, because there is, and turn the notifications on for that group. That's the most important. Like groups like that, you should have your notifications on for, because you'll get a little Facebook notification when you log in, and you can then go and have a little look, like what's he suggesting that I do today. And there is some really incredible content that's being shared in there, as well as trainings from team members. These are tools that you have completely for free. And every single consultant, when somebody says to me, I get it quite a lot where people jump in my inbox and say, I don't get support from my SSD, or I don't know where to find the information about this. I don't get any support. And I'm like, do you know what? No one taught us, all four of us, no one would come to us and said, this is exactly how you sponsor. This is what you do. We all went away and found that information independently. And that's where you guys have got to decide if you want this to grow. That's probably the difference between us four sitting here now, is literally we decided we are independent for starters. I don't need someone to hold my hand, show me where all the information is, answer 25,000 questions about join kits, how much things are, what they get. Yes, of course, we're here to support you, guide you, and answer questions when you can't find the information. But your first port of call is, can you find that information for yourself first? Because I can tell you now that when you grow a team, and this is something I preach to my team quite a lot, is when you grow a team, whether it be have a team of 5 or you've got a team of 5,000, you need to be able to do for one what you could do for 5,000. So if you are having to find the join information for one person, 2 people, 10 people, over and over and over again, and give that same information, what are you going to do when your team grows to 5,000? Because I'm telling you now, when I woke up, I said this on a training recently, when I woke up during COVID, and this is honestly the truth, I woke up one morning and went from having a team of 400 to, in the space of a year, it had grown to 4,000. And I remember being like, I didn't have the systems in place to be able to deal with that. I was that person going, hold on, let me find the information for you. Let me find that. I can help you with that. I can do that for you. And honestly, I wasn't then creating independent team members. And that's something that, so I really am, like, that's like a real pet thing for me, like a really important thing. As you start to grow a team, as you're looking for this information, you've got it all at your fingertips. Just use your independence, use your there's another word for it that I want to initiative. Use your initiative to find things first, but then also come back to us to lean on things once because you're going to surprise yourself, and you're going to go on that workstation and be like, oh my God, I've just found how much the kit is, the information. In fact, I found some training on it as well. Oh, and I've even found how to even ask. A lot of it's on the workstation before, like any of the other tools that we're going to give you today. Okay, that is me done. Amazing. Katie, did you want to go next, my love?
Oh, I'll go next. So I'm going to talk to you guys about. I just muted myself by accident. My bad, y'all. I'm tired. It is recital week at my house, so that means we have a lot of rehearsals, and I'm tired. I'm going to talk to you guys about how to work and putting systems in place to be intentional when you do work. A lot of people, when you wake up every day, you should know how you're going to touch your business. You should know what focus you're going to do that day when you wake up. If you don't, you're really failing yourself. Your day is going to run you instead of you running your day. Systems are very, very, very important, and people don't like to hear that, but it's just like a corporate job. When you go to a corporate job, 9 times out of 10, you have a task for your job. They have job descriptions, things that you have to do for your job, correct? It's the same with Scentsy, except you don't have somebody telling you every single day you need to do X, Y, and Z. You have to be very self-motivated and you have to be very self-disciplined. If you're not self-disciplined, it is very easy to put your business to the side, and there's danger in that. You can have a bad day and not work your business. But if you have a bad entire month and you don't work your business for an entire month, you're going to get complacent and comfortable with not working your business. And before you know it, your business has died. I am very big on what do they say when you start dating somebody? What it took to get them is what it takes to keep them. It is the same with your business. When you sponsor, when you grow a team, I did a lot of leadership things wrong. I don't have leadership to a T. I really don't. I am very self-motivated. I don't have a sponsor cheering me on. I don't have a sponsor sending me emails. I don't have a sponsor saying, good job, Katie. And listen, I've earned every top tier trip since I've been a consultant. Every top tier trip, every top 50 trip I have earned. You think my sponsors tell me good job? No. But too many consultants ride on recognition. And your recognition, I hate to say this, is your paycheck. That is your recognition. Too many people rely on, oh my God, my sponsor doesn't do anything for me. My director doesn't want to do anything. My superstar doesn't want to do anything. Listen, life be lifing for everybody. That doesn't matter what title you are. My biggest pet peeve to me is when leaders, meaning when you sponsor one person, you become a leader. Doesn't matter if you hit leader. When you sponsor somebody, it's not about you. I hate to say that. It's not about you no more. It's about them. Leadership is a servanthood. So my biggest pet peeve is when leaders become leaders and they still expect so much from your upline. I'm not getting encouragement. I'm not getting this. And I hear a lot of I. Instead of saying, hey, you good? You good? Listen, my mom died very unexpectedly last January. And I had to decide right then, Katie, you really need to focus on your personal business. You don't need to be leading at 100%. So my leaders, my team, my group, I still showed up for them. I send them a tip email every single Thursday. I'm very consistent with those things. But they didn't get the extra, Katie. They didn't get the extra encouraging text message, the extra clapping for you text message, because Katie couldn't even get out of bed. Katie couldn't even be a wife, and Katie couldn't be a mom. Having systems in place when I got pregnant with my daughter, that pregnancy was brutal. I had postpartum depression and anxiety with her. It was brutal. The first 2 years of her life was brutal. We were not sleeping. We weren't doing anything. My business continued to grow because I had systems in place. And when you have a system in place, it's non-negotiable. When you have a system, a checklist that you know exactly what you're doing every day, when I look at that checklist, it's non-negotiable, meaning I haven't worked my job, my Scentsy job. I have not worked it if I have not completed that checklist. And you have to ask yourself, if I went into a corporate job, if this was a corporate job, would I be fired? Because some people, especially leaders, they think they're owed a paycheck without the work. That doesn't fly in corporate world. You can't go through a hard time for a whole year and say, I haven't worked my business in 3 months because I'm going through a hard time. Okay, tell a corporate job that. You won't have no job. Okay? You won't have no job. So you have to work this business if you want it to be a business, not hobbyists. I'm gonna just assume people on this call are not hobbyists, that you want more out of your business. You have to decide to have a business mindset. You can't do bare minimum and expect maximum results. That's the problem with a lot of people in this business. They want to do the bare minimum. I just want to get active, but I also want to make $5,000 a month. You can't have what? You can't have bare minimum and get maximum results. And sometimes that baffles me. Oh, especially my leaders, directors and above. When my directors and above say, oh my God, leadership is so hard. It is hard. But you get paid more to do it. You can't just say leadership's hard, so I'm just not going to lead my team or show up for my team because it's so hard. Well, guess what? Then you don't deserve that paycheck because your team deserves more than that. You don't get to collect a paycheck off a team and you're not doing the work for the team. That's not how that works. So anyway, I don't know why I just went on that tangent, but let's just talk about systems for a minute, okay? So I'm not perfect with systems. I'm going to share my system that I have lived by for 9 years with you guys. I'm going to share that in this group. You can edit it to fit your personal business, where you're at in your personal business. But I'm going to share 3 ways that I've worked, because different seasons are going to require you to not quit. Listen, you're going to go through hard times. Your children are going to get sick. Your husband's going to be a douchebag. Your kids are going to have a million school activities. You're going to get sick. Your mom's going to die. Things are going to happen in your life. That doesn't mean we put our kit down. That means we pivot and we use our energy wisely. We use our energy where it matters most. So when my mom passed, I didn't make samples. But guess what? My PRV was still popping. I didn't recruit because I said, I'm not going to sponsor. I'm going to focus on building my customer base right now because I don't have the energy to train. Doesn't mean when you go through a hard time, you put your kit down and you quit and say, I'll come back later. Because guess what? If you got a team and you quit, your team quits. Stop showing up for your team's going to stop showing up for you. People don't want to hear that either. They want to wonder why, oh my gosh, September 1st. I love September 1st. You know why? The dead come alive September 1st. Oh my God, the dead come alive. They come alive September 1st. When the fall catalog comes out, they come alive. My inbox blows up. Oh my God, Katie, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this new catalog. It's fall. I'm ready. Do you have any tips for me on how to get my business popping? I'm like, where you been, girl? Where you been? You're on fire now. Guess what? Just because your fire comes back, your team's fire done fizzled, and you can't relight other people's fires for them. You got to be the fire, okay? Write that down. That's good. Be the fire. You got to be the fire regardless of how you feel. Be the fire, especially if you're a leader. So anyway, 3 ways. Let me just get back on task. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. Okay, so I have 3 systems. One I call my label system. That is my golden system. That is my system of gold. That is a system I have cherished for 9 years. And every day, I don't work the weekends. Side note, I'm not even on social media on the weekends. I don't even know what's going on in life or other people's life on the weekends. I don't freaking care. I sleep in. I get up every morning between 4:45 and 5 to work out every morning like a lunatic. And I don't like it. I don't like to work out. I like the way I feel after it. But that's dedication and discipline. So Saturday, I live for Fridays because I know I get to sleep in tomorrow. I live for Friday, so I don't care what people do on the weekends, but Katie don't work on the weekends. So my label system is Monday through Friday. Very simple. Monday is focused on getting at least 200 PRV from whatever release is coming on that Monday, and it's follow-up focused. I'm focused on follow-ups, I'm focused on customer relationships, and I'm focused on getting 200 PRV every Monday from new release. Tuesday is team day. Let's not skip that. I don't care how big. Let's not skip that. Let's not skip team day because we think they're optional. Okay. Your team matters. So team day is when I do shout outs on my team page. It's when I send recognition emails. And guess what? My recognition emails are all in a Google Doc. So all I do is edit a couple words and I copy and paste it and send it. Everything I do is a copy and paste. It's saved. I have an almost active email, so I'm running a report. Who's in my team and in my group are almost active. I'm sending them a cheer on email, and I'm sending 5 frontline of text on Tuesday. Tuesday is team focused, all team. Wednesday is party focused, meaning I'm going to book 3 parties every Wednesday, depending on my business. Like this week, I only needed to book 2 parties because all my bag parties are out. I only needed to book 2. Wednesday is party focused, so I'm focused on my host. I'm going on social media talking about free and half off product. I'm talking about everything party. Thursday is my sponsor day. That's when I'm going to talk about the opportunity. I'm going to do a post about what Scentsy's done for me. I'm going to go on my stories and talk about this business. And I'm going to have 5 conversations. Friday is my wrap-up day. If the week went a train wreck and I missed a couple things, we're going to go back, check those things off. I'm going to do mail. I'm going to do thank yous, whatever on Friday. Friday's my wrap-up day. By the end of the week, my business is well-rounded. It is consistent. I have hit every single thing that matters in my business. Nothing is skipped. It keeps me consistent. But listen, you can print out a system all day long, but a system ain't going to work unless you work the system. Okay? Now, here's another system I did when life was real hard. Specifically after I had Brinley. Specifically after I had Brinley, but Brinley never slept. She slept in a swing the first 6 months of her life. So I slept in a recliner and I breastfed, and she would never fill up. So I breastfed her every 5 seconds. I felt like it was a disaster. Okay, it was just a disaster that first year. I actually earned the top trip that year, and I literally do not know how, because it was a train wreck and I didn't sleep. And I looked like Princess Fiona from Shrek because I gained so much weight when I was pregnant with her. So all I wanted was French fries with cheese sauce, and I was breastfeeding this baby that would never sleep. So it was a fun time the first year. So I had to pivot from my label system, and I did something called the one-on-one method, meaning I would watch the end of the month live every month. And as I was watching the end of the month live, I would go through my order history, and I would make 3 columns on a sheet of paper. It ain't nothing pretty, and I'm going to share all this with y'all in the group, my label system and everything. You decide how you want to work for your mind. I would make 3 columns: potential hosts, potential clubbers, potential recruits. And when I watched the end of the month live, I would go through my previous month and I would categorize my customers on who I thought would fit in each category. And that was called the one-on-one method. And then I would put her in her car seat when we picked my son up from school. My son goes to school 40 minutes away. And if she would fall asleep, sometimes she didn't. Sometimes I would have to ask my husband for backup, and I need 5 minutes. You can do a lot in 5 minutes. I promise. I work good under pressure when you have a goal in mind. And I remember specifically when I got home from school, I said, listen, I need to book parties. I need 5 minutes on my porch by myself. And I booked 5 parties in 5 minutes. I took my one-on-one sheet. I would fold it up. It's handwritten. Ain't nothing cute. And it won't a document. It won't nothing printed. I literally wrote it, put it in my pocketbook. And every chance I get, I knew already who I needed to talk to, because I already had my master sheet for the whole month. So when I had times broken down, I would say, okay, I need to book parties because my PRV is slacking. And I already have my potential host list. So all I had to do was message those people and cross off their name. I already had a master sheet of people, because why? You need people to have a successful business. So that's called the one-on-one method. Now, every time I would hit 1,000 PRV, I would move from my club and my host tab to my recruit tab. So every time I had 1,000 PRV, my brain would say, you need to sponsor now. So I would go to my sponsor tab. And that's how I worked for the first year after I had Brinley. I would literally focus on getting 1,000 PRV. Then I would focus on sponsoring somebody. Then I would go back to PRV. Once I hit 2,000 PRV, I would go back to my sponsoring tab and focus on sponsoring. Okay, that was my second system. My third system ain't nothing cute. I set an alarm every day for 12 p.m. For 15 minutes. I would put my phone on DND, airplane mode, whatever, for 15 minutes, and I would just talk to people about whatever. So I would either follow up with customers, or I would book parties, or I would have sponsoring conversations in those 15 minutes. Ray Anderson also worked the same way. Me and her were a nurse at the same time. Me and her every day would say, okay, my alarm's going on at 12. Let me know how many conversations you have, how many yeses you have in 15 minutes. 15 minutes can get you a lot done in this business if you are focused. Not scrolling Facebook, not looking at reels, not looking at people's stories, not looking at what every other consultant in America and the UK and everywhere else is doing. You're focused on your business. 15 minutes of intentional conversations focused only on follow-ups with your customers, booking parties, and having sponsoring conversations. And I worked like that for a very long time while I was a nurse. 15 minutes a day. Those were my 3 systems. All 3 are effective because they're very focused, and they're only, write this down for the love of God, the only things you need to do in this business is following up with your customers, booking parties, and having sponsoring conversations. And when you sponsor, showing your team to do the same exact thing. Get rid of the fluff. Nobody gives a damn about your flower molded sample. Nobody cares that your sample's in the shape of a flower. They're going to put it in a warmer, and guess what? It's going to be liquid. Nobody cares about your beautiful labels, because guess what? They're not going to read it anyway. They're still going to message you and ask you what scent you sent them. They're not going to read the label. Nobody cares about the fluff. They care about the relationship. So let's get rid of spending 2 hours making flower-shaped molded samples, and you spend that time moving the needle in your business by having conversations. I'm out. I went way over my time. Way over. Sorry. I don't even know where that went. Real sorry.
We'll
Don't
let you
apologize.
off because
Gonna say,
literally we're all like,
we're like, yes,
So good.
so good. Right, wait, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I love that. And I will say that I think all of us use that label system. So I have taken what Katie shared and I made it into my own checklist.
Right.
It's the same concept. I just made it into what works for me. So, and it's not cute, like she said. Everybody says, "Well, I can't use it if it's not pretty or cute or makes me happy." Okay, well, what makes me happy is a nice, pretty paycheck. So I'm going to use a system that works for me, that helps me get the work that's important, that matters, done. Okay. So I love that. I definitely would suggest looking at that system, editing it to make it your own if the stickers don't work for you. I am not a pen and paper person. My business is right here. So guess what? My checklist is right here. I use that label system. I put it into a different document. I made it a checklist and it's on my phone. Okay. So that's the thing, like all of these tools that we're talking about today, all these systems, you have to use them. Like they're there. And I will say, after talking to a few other people in other direct sales companies, the amount of tools that Scentsy consultants have it's not comparable to any other business I've seen. It's not comparable. Like Lisa said, and someone messaged me the other day, and they were asking for some of my systems because they were talking about how they don't have the support of their upline and all of that. And so it's very interesting to hear Lisa talk about that and Katie talk about that, because I think that we're focusing too much on how our upline or how other consultants are going to help us instead of being more arrows out and looking for what we need in our business. Okay. And I don't know who said that this morning, but it's so important. And I'm actually talking about YouTube. And I know y'all are like, okay, what about YouTube? But YouTube is how I got to where I am, because I also didn't have the support of my sponsor or my upline with when I first decided to make this a business. And so I got my butt on YouTube and I showed up to World Tour and I went to SFR when it was not convenient at all. And that's what changed it for me, because I listened to what people in this business were doing, the successful people, and I made it into my own. And I know maybe it's a personality trait, or maybe I don't even think it's a personality trait. I think it's just the will to be successful. And I think that's what you have to be successful in this business. Like we've said before, it's not that we're lucky. It's not that we were favored in some way. The successful people in this business are successful because they want to be successful, and they're not taking no for an answer. Okay. So YouTube, utilizing those trainings, getting on YouTube and searching what you're looking for, Google it. I mean, I know that sounds so simple, but there's ChatGPT it. There's so many tools. The workstation. I know that the search, me and that search, we fight every single day of my life, to be completely honest. But if you can't find something in the workstation, go to your leader, go to a consultant and say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm searching, and I can't find it. They're going to help be able to, honestly, it's usually a different word that you need to search to find it. That's what I have found. But that workstation is completely full of trainings. So trainings that Scentsy has done, trainings that consultants have done, that Scentsy has uploaded. The amount of trainings, we have too much. We have too much. There's literally nothing that you can't find an answer to if you're willing to take the time to look for it. If you don't want to take the time to look for it, then that's the issue. Okay. So utilizing those trainings. You're here, you're watching this. I love that for you. But you can all watch all the trainings in the world. And if you don't take action from those trainings, then it was a waste of your time to do it. So when I made that switch in my business and wanted it to be a real business, I watched a training every single day. Every single day I watched a training. Every single day I took at least one thing from that training to try in my business, okay? To tweak, to do, okay? So taking action and asking people. I will say that a lot of consultants have their trainings listed on YouTube as unlisted because of the hateful comments. But I will say, if you find someone that you connect with, for me, it was Jen Audette, it was Andy Teeter, it was some of those people. If you find someone that you connect with and you're looking for answers to a question, just message them. Most of the people that are active in our business are very willing to help you find the answer. They may not give you the answer right out, but they may say, "Oh, I did a training on that. Here's that link," right? So ask them. Ask them if they have a training on this, or ask them if they have advice for this. You got to be arrows out in this business. And that is not just being willing, like within our consultant group, but also in your business. Okay. And it can get exhausting. That's why rest is important. That's a whole nother training. But YouTube, I want you to utilize it. I want you to listen to a training. You could be folding clothes. You could be in the shower. You can be driving. Instead of binging Netflix for an hour, I want you to binge a training for 30 minutes, right? People say, "I don't have time to watch the training. I just want to get the answer." No, nope. Because that's not going to set you up for success. Okay. You got to train yourself. You got to work your own business. We are independent consultants. And that's what I say when I'm sponsoring people too. Like, I'm not your boss. I'm not going to tell you when to show up. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do in this business. But if you tell me what you want, I can give you the tools to help you be successful. Okay. Right. So YouTube it. I literally have a shirt that says IDK, Google it, because we get so many questions. You got to be arrows out. Okay, the other one is Canva. Scentsy has really started to give us the templates for flyers and for information, and it's specifically for joining. They have started. It's in actually the news article. There's a link there. They have added what the kits look like. They have added all the information. They have even added the add-on kits that people can do this month, which is incredible. And we're going to talk about the kits next month. But using Canva, there's a Canva group that's consultant led that has tons of information. I personally love I love Canva. That is the fluff, okay? So I'm not telling you to go in there and spend hours making a flyer. I'm not telling you that. But I am telling you that I want you to go in Canva, take a template, and before you use it, so before you use what Scentsy has gave us, I want you to change it in some way, whether it be a color, adding a picture of yourself, your face. All of that is so, so important in this business that you make it your own, not necessarily even that you're standing out among consultants, but so that connection can be made with your customers. They're going to know if they just see a flyer. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Informational flyers are great, but there's a time and place. If you're sharing something on social media or you're sharing something with a potential teammate, you want to be able, you always want to say, how can I have this connection with them? How can I connect what I'm sending them to me? Okay. So I want you to make it your own. I want you to put your face on it. I want you to change it up a little bit. Canva is, like I said, Scentsy has Canva links everywhere. Literally everywhere, and I want you to use those and utilize them. Canva does have a free option. You don't have to pay for Canva. There are going to be some things that you don't have available to you, but you can take, if you don't pay for it, you can take those out and put something else in. There's so much option with the free option of Canva, and everything that Scentsy gives us is within those realms of the free option. Okay, and then the third thing is going to be Facebook. We talked a lot about this yesterday, but using Facebook for your groups, for your events that you're doing, huge pool for potential teammates. So make sure that you're using those tools. That again, our resources are not limited in Scentsy. We have, Lisa said it. Honestly, if you took Canva, Facebook, all of that away, you would still have everything you need to be successful in your workstation. That's all I got.
Amazing. Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to find the unmute button. Incredible. Honestly, I thought I know what I was going to say at the beginning, and I've literally written loads. That's what we've been talking, because you've literally got me all fired up because everything above the girls have said is literally solid gold, guys. Like you literally have everything at your fingertips, and it is one of my like biggest bugbears. Everyone thinks that I'm like really like Disney, glitter, all the things. I am, but I am a very black and white person. My brain works in black and white. So when people then come to me and go like, "Oh," I'm like, "What? No, no, no. Stop making excuses." Because literally, like they said, you have everything at your fingertips. And just to touch on what the girl said about your sponsor not doing everything for you. I am Lisa's sponsor, right? Okay, so we have an amazing relationship, but I did not build Lisa's business. Lisa, I was a director when Lisa joined, I think, or superstar consultant. And we grew together. So don't worry. I mean, obviously I'd sponsored up to that point, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had no management experience, leadership experience. I was just sharing Sensei. Like I just loved it. So actually, we became a leader together independently. So yes, we have an amazing relationship. So again, we have probably had people maybe say to us or about us before, "Oh, well, it's okay for you because like you had a sponsor that you go out for breakfast with." Just because we were going out for breakfast and coffee, she would ring me and go, "Oh my God, have you watched this training? Oh my God, listen to this YouTube." Like you can learn together. So you cannot say, "Oh, about, oh, my sponsor didn't show me this." I wasn't in her inbox saying, "You need to do this, you need to do this." She was independent, and in turn, it made me a better leader because we learned together. We're very, very different. This is the next thing I want to touch on. There is no cookie cutter Sensei consultant, okay? One of our core values is authenticity. I am the least technical person you will ever meet on this planet, okay? She will tell you that. Like we were sitting across our island the other week and she was talking to me about something about this Google Drive and then you just do this and then you fill in this form and she literally looked at me and went, "You're gone, aren't you? I've lost you." And I was like, "I'm really sorry. I've really tried." You want to know my system? This is my system. So basically it's Katie Sticker system, but it's with a pen and paper. Right, let's just go back. Look at it. That is my life. There, that is my brain on a page. But I have got books and books and books of these. And if I didn't write these things down, nothing would happen. My kids wouldn't get fed. There'd be no food in the cupboards. There'd be no clean clothes. Like there'd certainly be no Sensei business. But that is how my brain works. So don't feel like you have to be able to do everything like everybody else. You need to do what works for you. So yes, I might have said once upon a time, I don't have any systems. I have a pen and paper. That is my system. I'm getting better. I am getting better. But my husband, for example, he's all tech. He's you, Whitney. He's you, Lisa. Like everything's in his iPhone diary. He's like, "Did you not?" I'm like, "No, I didn't see that. You just need to tell me and I'll write it down." So that is the thing. You need to understand that you all have the power to be successful and you all do have the power to build systems, but you need to do it in a way that works for you because when you try and do it in other ways, I'm not saying you can't evolve and learn. It sounds a little bit contradictory because I have definitely got better, but there are some things where I'm trying to think of Jotphone was one of them. I remember Lisa sending me something and I went, "Oh my God, that's an hour of my life I'm never getting back." I've now learned and got better, but what I mean is exactly like Katie said, get rid of the fluff in your business. If it's not something that is going to move your business forward and is not an income producing activity, do not make time for it. Okay? You need to do what works for you. So that was the first thing. I am going to talk about an actual tool before I close off, but I do just want to come back to some points that the girls have said, but I do think it's really important. Ultimately, your business growing is really in really, really simplistic form. It's you making a decision that you want it to. You absolutely, as a human being, you make time for things that are important for you in your life. You might not realize that, but if it is not important enough to you, you don't make time for it. And I kind of have like a rule that I live my life by now. If it doesn't make me better, make me money, or make me happy, I don't make time for it. I have got ridiculous boundaries and I'm quite ruthless with where I spend my time and who I have conversations with and what I do with my life. Because ultimately, that's what matters. That's what's important. My business is important. My kids and building a future for my family is important. So stop with the excuses in your head. Again, just coming back to what Katie said, last year I did lose my mum early this year as well. So Katie's touched on that. And I was very similar in, obviously I had to step back in a lot of things, but my business still ran. My PRV still came in. My leaders stepped up when I needed the help. The automated things still came out. But actually what I'm going to talk about is last year, my son was in hospital. We were away visiting family and he got quite poorly and he ended up being rushed into hospital and having an emergency operation on his bowels. He had to have part of his bowel cut away. So we were in a hospital miles away from home. My husband was at the other end of the country with our other children, like literally holding the fort down. But I still worked my business from beside his hospital bed because I had my phone and he was asleep a lot of the time. So I remember talking to my team at that time and my customers and saying, like, you know, I could actually just sit and doom scroll. Is that going to help me? No. Is it going to help my mental health when my son's actually quite poorly? No, it's not. Diving into my Scentsy business and making it a priority and understanding that actually I'm in control of my actions. And I remember it went over a month end and into a new month. And actually my PRV in that first week was better than I think it had been the previous 2 months because actually I was super, super intentional. And when I needed to be there for him, my phone was away. But when he was asleep, I could work my business. So it's literally about making it a non-negotiable, deciding that you want to be successful and understanding that you literally have every single tool, just to reiterate what the girls have said, every single tool available to you. You just need to understand that, you know, nobody gets a golden ticket. It's about taking the action. Okay, that is that done. I'm actually going to talk to you about the host kit and about how you can utilize that really, really quickly because I think we are going to touch on that in its entirety in another training. But about when it comes to sponsoring and people say they don't have the money to buy a kit. They can earn their kit, guys. You have every single month. You know, when people say, like, oh, we haven't got a join offer this month, you always have a join offer because you have your host kit. And you can literally, when you are booking them parties and coaching your hostesses, they can be earning their kit through their host rewards. So I'm not going to go into that too deep and in how all that works because like I said, I think we're going to touch on that on another training. But again, it is a tool within your business that if you're not utilizing, you literally have that. So you can obviously, they can join for free if they want to. If they go out and they get loads of orders and they're a hostess, you can flip them the party and boom, they've hit shooting star straight away. So you need to remember that every single month, every single week, every single day, you have a free junket if you want to. You can get them earning their orders. They're learning about being a consultant and brilliant. They've hit one of their first goals straight away. So make sure that that is a tool that you are using. I think that's it really. And the quote I found is stop waiting for perfect. And a superstar director is just an essential consultant that never gave up. We are exactly the same as every single person that buys a kit. We just never quit. We just keep going. I think I'm done. Oh, homework. Lisa, do you want to pick up on that?
Do you want me to?
Please.
She's like, I can't remember what it is. Right,
Yeah,
guys.
I can find it.
No, it's fine. So your challenges for this week. Obviously you've got the weekend. There is no training over the weekend. I think we will all be having some downtime this weekend before the month end kicks in at the beginning. I definitely need it, that is for sure. So you've got a chance to catch up over the weekend on anything that you haven't managed to squeeze in. If you needed to go back and look at anything, perfect opportunity over the weekend. Like I like to do my cleaning, walk the dog, AirPod. Normally I have like these sort of things on catch up in whilst I'm doing other things. Like that for me is gold. If you're doing any deliveries over the weekend, perfect time to like catch up. Anyway, your homework for this week is we're going big or go home, guys. I don't think we've actually given this as a homework as such. So this weekend, you have got 5 days of tools that we have given you, and it's now time to put it into practice. And it is time to ask 5 people if they would like to join your team. So, you know, those simple questions that you've seen that have popped up time and time again, we're giving you lots of examples. Use that list. Look at who you've been connecting with, reaching out to people that have ordered. Maybe you've got someone's club that's just come out. Maybe you've got I've got a lady that I'm literally about to close off her party. She's done like a shopping link for me and she's collected orders of all her friends and family. She's ordered a quad that she wants with like her half prices. And my next question is, well, look, do you want to sign up and become a consultant? That's the next question. So simple question. Have you ever considered doing what I do? Perfect. Simple question. Get it out to a minimum of 5 people over the weekend. Do you want to go big or go home? Go for 10. Because I mean, even if you went for 20, you're more likely to get at least one yes in that 20. So we are literally rip the plaster off. Let's go. Ask 5 people to join your team. You've got all weekend to do that. So if you're going to procrastinate and you're like, I'm going to wait till Sunday night because I want to put the pressure on. Sunday night for me is actually a golden time to message my customers because everybody seems to be on a Sunday night chilling out, watching Netflix, you know, taking a bit of time. They all sit down and that's when they answer me the most. So that's just something to think about. So yeah, get the questions asked, get caught up on everything and be ready to go on Monday. We are going to be giving you all the tools for the kits on Monday. We're going to be talking about all the ways people can sign up and how to target them with their kits. So that's what you've got coming on Monday. We look forward to seeing you on Monday. Let's go, guys. Good luck. Can't wait to hear of all your success. Thanks, ladies.